What's up guys, my name is Courtney Budzyn and this is What's for Din. Per request of one of my sweet subscribers, today I'm going to be showing you how to make a sweet dinner roll. These are the best dinner rolls you're ever going to find. They're ginormous, they're fluffy, they're yeasty, they're just the best dinner roll ever. You just slop some butter on top and you are in roll heaven. You're going to need some all-purpose flour, some warm water that's at a temperature of 115 degrees, some active dry yeast, some eggs that I just beat up, sugar, butter, a pinch of salt, and some milk. Now you're probably wondering, why is my milk in a pan? Well, what we do for this recipe is we're going to scald the milk. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a really small clip in a second. But back in the day, they used to scald milk so that it would get all the bacteria and stuff out of it so they could drink it. But the reason we're doing it in this recipe is because there's whey protein in the milk, and that weakens the gluten in the flour, and then it doesn't allow the yeast to work as well. So it's not going to rise as well. It'll still rise, but to get that really puffy, awesome roll, you want to do this because it makes such a big difference. So to scald your milk, all you're going to need is a heavy bottom saucepan so that you don't scorch your milk. Put that on the stove over medium-high heat, and then continue to stir it until it comes up to a simmer, like it's just about to boil. As soon as you see those bubbles, take it right off the stove and just keep continuing to stir it while it cools down slightly so that it doesn't develop any skin on top. And that's all there is to it. So now that our milk is scalded, we're gonna go ahead and activate our yeast. So in my water that's 115 degrees, I'm gonna add a little bit of the sugar that we're gonna use later because it helps activate the yeast. And then of course the yeast. And give that a slight stir. Don't go crazy stirring it, you don't want to disturb it too much. We're gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes until it gets nice and bubbly, and you'll know what it looks like when it's there. So you can see it's nice and activated, and if your yeast didn't get bubbly like this, you're going to want to start over, because if you don't, then that means your dough, your rolls are going to be just flatter than a pancake. Who wants that? So I have a standing mixer here. You can do it by hand. By all means, I always would do these by hand, but my husband was nice and got me a present, so I'm going to take advantage of it. So just add your yeast in there. Make sure you get it all out. And then to that, I'm going to add my sugar, my melted butter. Make sure your butter's not super, super hot. We're adding just a pinch of salt, our eggs, and our scalded milk. Now before you pour the milk in, make sure it's cooled down or else it'll scramble the eggs. Mine's nice and cooled. So we're gonna go ahead and just mix this together. Now we're gonna slowly start adding our flour in bits. Now the amount of flour you use depends on the humidity in the air and all other different factors that are scientific that I'm not going to list right now. So just add a little bit at a time and mix it together, and I'll show you what it's supposed to look like when it's there. Okay, so that's what it should look like at the end. I'm going to show you the consistency of it as soon as I get it all off of here. Now it's a little bit sticky, but that's fine. As long as it's not pulling away from your hands, it's perfectly fine. So I just kind of smooth it out and then pinch the bottom. So I have a glass bowl here with a little bit of olive oil in it, and I'm just going to take my dough and roll it around to get the olive oil on the top so it doesn't stick as it rises. And we're going to cover this and put this somewhere warm, like in the microwave. Don't turn it on, but somewhere where there's not any draft so it can rise. So you want this to double in size, so it could take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how hot or cold your house is, if there's drafts. So let it double in size and we'll move on to the next step. So my dough has risen beautifully. You can see it doubled in size. It was rising for about an hour. So once it's done, you just press it down, deflate it, get the air out of it. You can kind of measure how you want, but I just take a piece of the dough and pinch it off, and you're gonna form it into a ball. And then once you have it in the shape you want, go ahead and place it on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Now, like I said, you can make these in any sizes you really want, but it does affect the baking time. So we're gonna go ahead and cover these with a damp towel, place them somewhere warm, not somewhere hot, and we're gonna let them rise for another hour. I know it seems like a lot of rising time, but I mean, all you had to do was put the dough together, let it rise, and then put it in the oven, and it's absolutely delightfully delicious. So why not try it? Let it rise for an hour and I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. So my rolls have risen beautifully. Once again, you can see they're really plump. It's okay if they're touching slightly. It's not a super big deal, but you don't want them squished all together. That's just how I like it personally. So we're gonna throw this in a 375 degree oven for about 20 minutes or until the tops are nice and golden brown and you can just smell through your house that yeasty, doughy smell. Then they're done, bring them out. And then I have some butter here that I'm gonna melt in the microwave. So as soon as they come out, go ahead and slap some butter on the tops and they're ready to serve. So this is the finished product. As you can see, they are amazing looking. I had the ones that were on the top rack in for only 16 minutes because they got browned faster than the other ones, and the ones on the bottom were for 20 minutes total. Now I want you to see, excuse my nails, but look how squishy this is. I'm just gonna tear that open. Oh my goodness, look at that. Soft, doughy, pillowy. So good. It is so good. It's unbelievable how good it is. I think I just spit. Oops. So if you want to recreate this recipe, just look below in the description box. I'll list all the measurements and the written instructions. And if you did like this video, don't forget to smack that like button. And if you aren't already subscribed, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. See you later. Oh, that was awesome.